and welcome back to Story Stash. I'm your host Duncan, and these are some of my stories I've written. Today I'm reading from my book Ghost Whisperer, and this is chapter 24. So let's get started. Chapter 24. The next morning, Ed awoke. He rose, showered, and headed for the family room. He was getting too comfortable here. Ed arrived in the family room. "Good morning, Ed," said Ellen. Ed fetched himself a coffee and sat down next to Ellen. "I heard from my attorney. They should release Billy from prison today." "That's good news. I'll tell Connor when I see him next." Ed sipped his coffee. "Billy can also expect some compensation for the wrongful conviction. That should help him get his life started again." "Agreed. What are your plans for today?" "I thought I should return to work." "Oh, and you'll be moving back to your apartment?" "I was thinking so. The Russians are no longer a threat," said Ed. "Of course." Ellen picked up her phone. Shortly after, she put it down again. "Your car will be out front. Do you need help to move your belongings?" "Oh no, I can manage." Ed wasn't sure what happened, but his time at the mansion had ended. He picked up his laptop and returned to his room. He packed his belongings and took them down to the entrance hall. Just then, his phone rang. He put his bag down and answered the phone. "Hello?" "Ed, this is Officer Ure. I need your help." "How can I help you?" "We've got a missing 2-year-old child in the wild near Snoqualmie. I thought you could help find her." "Sure. I need to gather some friends. Where can I meet you?" "I'm going to be at the Snoqualmie Reservation off I-90. It'll take you a couple of hours to get here. See you later, but understand this is urgent." "I'm on my way." Ed closed the call and hurried to the family room. Ellen sat on the sofa, clutching a box of tissues. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked. She sniffed and put down the tissues. "Sure, just allergies. What's up?" "I just got a call. Someone needs our help, so work will have to wait. I can share the details with you as we drive." "We're on the case! Woohoo! Let me make a call." Ellen picked up her phone. "Ed and I are going out." She ended the call. "Okay, let's go." They walked out the front entrance as the SUV pulled up behind Ed's car. As they drove out of the mansion, Ed filled Ellen in on the mission. "So it's a lost girl?" "Yes. Here, please take my phone and call Washta." Ellen did so. She put it on speaker. "Hello?" "Washta, this is Ed. Is Absaroki around? I need his help urgently." "Hold on." Ed glanced at Ellen. She shrugged. A moment later, she heard a squawking noise. Ed could understand it, though. "Ed, what can I do for you?" "Absaroki, we got a lost girl near Snoqualmie. I need you to join the search party," said Ed. Ellen couldn't understand his crow language. "Sure, I can search from the air. Can I get a ride out there?" "I'm driving to your place now. See you soon." "Ellen, please hang up the phone," said Ed. She did so. "We're on our way to Washta's to pick up Absaroki," said Ed. "Oh, okay. And he's going to help search?" "You got it. He can search from the air." Shortly, they pulled up outside Washta's home. The SUV parked behind them. Ed got out and opened Ellen's door for her. "Please inform your security detail. Our next stop is Snoqualmie. I'll go fetch Absaroki." "Sure." Ellen walked over to the SUV while Ed approached the house. Ed stopped when Absaroki flew down from the roof and perched on his shoulder. "Ed, please open the rear passenger door and step back," he said. No sooner had he done this than a bald eagle dive-bombed the car and leveled out and landed perfectly on the back seat. "A friend of yours?" asked Ed. "Yes, you should be able to communicate with him. His name is Wunbly." "Okay, please get in. We must hurry." Absaroki flew into the back seat. Ellen returned, amused, to see 2 birds in the back seat. Ed and Ellen got in the car. Ed drove off, careful not to upset the bird of prey in the seat behind him. The SUV followed. Ed tried to speak Eagle. "Wombly, thank you for helping us." "You're welcome. Absaroki said it was important. There's a lost hatchling." "Yes, I'm unsure how long she's been in the wild, so I'm in a hurry." "I know the area around Snoqualmie well. Lots of places to get lost." The screeching amazed Ellen, and Ed was talking with an eagle while driving. "Ellen, welcome to our search party," said Ed. "I'm impressed. We've a long drive to the Snoqualmie Reservation." "Okay." About 2 hours later, they pulled into the Snoqualmie Reservation. Ed stopped his car, and a Native American person approached him. He looked at the 2 birds in the back seat. "Hello, I'm looking for Officer Urey," said Ed. "Are you the medicine man?" he asked. "Yes." "I'm sorry, I didn't expect a white medicine man. He's over there in the main building. You can park out front." "Thanks." Ed drove on and parked outside the main building. He got out and opened the doors for both Ellen and the birds. Wombly and Absaroki flew out and perched on the roof of a nearby building. Officer Urey stepped out. "Hello, Ed. Glad you could make it. I need to know where to search. I brought a crow and an eagle. We must explain it to them, so it would be good if you can bring a map outside and show me on the map where to look." "Of course." He went back inside and returned with a map. They spread it on the front of his car. Ed gestured to the 2 birds, who flew back and landed on the car roof. "Go ahead, Ed," said Absaroki. "This is our location. The child was last seen just north of here. There's a search party looking in this area," Officer Urey pointed out on the map. "Did you get that?" Ed asked the crow. "Yes, we'll fly from here. Meet us at the last reported position." The 2 birds took off and flew north. "They said to meet them at the last reported position," said Ed. "You can follow my vehicle," said Urey. "Will do." Soon 3 vehicles left the reserve and headed north. Absaroki and Wombly flew north. It didn't take long to reach the last known location. Wombly the eagle flew higher, but he kept Absaroki within sight. They flew past the search party, who were on foot. Later, they flew through a valley a distance further on. Absaroki saw a bear peering out of a cave mouth. "That bear looks familiar," said Absaroki. He descended to inspect closer. The bear gestured with its front paws in a very unbear-like fashion. Absaroki squawked at Wombly and descended further. He landed and perched on a bush near the cave entrance. The eagle circled around high in the air. "Did you lose a baby girl?" asked Mohi the bear. "Yes. She's lucky I found her. I have her inside the cave." "Hold on, and I'll send word to Ed. He can come fetch her. Thank you for taking care of her." "I couldn't let the other animals eat her. I'm already reborn as a bear, so I don't need any bad karma." Absaroki took off and flew up towards Wombly, squawking. When the eagle descended and approached Absaroki, he explained things. "I need you to fetch Ed. The child is inside that cave. The bearers are friendly." Wombly didn't reply, but took off south. It was impossible for a crow to fly that fast. Absaroki descended and returned to perch on the bush near the cave entrance. "Wombly has gone to fetch Ed." "Good. She needs a diaper change," said Mohi with disgust. About an hour later, Ed, Ellen, and Officer Urey stood waiting near the vehicles. "I bet her mother is distraught," said Ellen. "No doubt," said Urey. Ed saw a speck in the sky. "Excuse me, officer, is that coming this way?" Ed pointed at the speck. Urey fetched his binoculars and looked at the speck. "It's an eagle flying towards us." That's Wombly. They waited. Eventually the eagle landed near Ed. Ed, we found the child. I can guide you to it, said Wombly. Ed nodded to the eagle. He turned to the others. Good news, they found the child. I have to fetch her. Officer Ure grabbed his backpack. I'm coming with you. Ellen, could you wait here with your security detail, or you could meet me back at the reservation, asked Ed. Sure, don't worry about me. Ed handed her his car keys. He waved at the eagle, who took off and flew north. Ed and Officer Ure followed. One of her security detail approached Ellen. Is he going out to rescue a lost child? Yes, he's quite the hero. Ed and Officer Ure hiked through the terrain following the eagle. Somehow, the eagle never flew too far ahead and was aware of their location. So now you can speak with eagles? Asked Ure. Well, today was my first time. He volunteered to help. I suspect he is the reincarnated spirit of a former human. No doubt. It's the first time an eagle has led me on a rescue mission. Stick around with me and you'll think this is normal. My life has been crazy ever since my accident. They climbed over a fallen tree trunk. I understand. You do a lot of good, though. I don't mind doing the occasional good deed, but my life is pulling me in directions and at speeds that are uncomfortable. I can hardly keep up, said Ed. You're keeping up today. I called for help and you turned up. An hour later and we're on our way to collect the lost child. When you called this morning, I was about to return to work. If I continue the way things are, I'll not keep my job for much longer. What is your job? I work as a software developer. What does that entail? Since the accident, I'm fixing bugs. And you like this job? I do. It's satisfying work. I'd suggest the life-saving work as a medicine man surpasses the satisfaction of fixing bugs. Ed was silent for a while. They climbed over a ridge and descended into the next valley. Ed looked up to see the eagle circling ahead. So how come you're out at the Snoqualmie Reservation today? I thought you worked downtown, asked Ed. I work in multiple areas, wherever I'm needed. Today it was out east. Okay. They reached the bottom of a slope and the terrain leveled off. Suddenly, Absaroki landed on a branch nearby. Ed, you're almost there. I saw Wombly circling, so I knew you'd arrived. Ed turned to Officer Ure. We're nearly there. Ed and Ure approached the cave entrance. Mohi sat outside. Upon spotting Ed, the bear stood and entered the cave. Soon he returned carrying a little girl by her clothing in his teeth. He placed her down in front of him. Take her. She needs a diaper change and food and water. Ed approached the child, careful of the bear. He knew the bear was friendly, but he looked a little scary. She's still breathing, said Ed. Ed picked up the child and carried her towards Officer Ure. The little girl woke up. I'm thirsty, she whispered. Ure, do you have water in your pack? Sure. He took a bottle out of his pack and held it to the girl's lips. She sipped slowly. Ed looked back at the cave entrance, planning to thank Mohi. The bear had already gone back inside. We'd best get back. I'll radio the other search party that we found her, said Ure. Okay. Officer Ure made a quick call on his radio, and they set off back the way they came. As Ed didn't have a backpack, he carried the girl. It took Ed and Officer Ure nearly 2 hours to walk back. The afternoon was getting late. Ed talked to the girl as they walked. He wanted to keep her calm. Ed's car and the SUV were gone. An ambulance was waiting beside Officer Ure's vehicle. As soon as they arrived, the paramedics jumped into action. They took the girl from Ed and focused on her. Ed sat down on a rock to catch his breath. Soon a paramedic handed bottles of chilled water to Ed and Officer Urey. "Ed, I can drive you back to the reservation." "Sure, I need to catch up with Ellen." After the ambulance left, they got into Officer Urey's vehicle and drove back. "Thank you for your special help today. We couldn't have saved her without you," said Urey. "It was the right thing to do. I couldn't let a little girl die." "Right. Well, I'm sorry we pulled you away from your software development work. Hopefully I'll be back at work tomorrow." "Right." They soon arrived at the Snoqualmie Reservation. Ed's car and the SUV were parked there. A security guard pointed into the main building. Ed and Officer Urey exited the vehicle and walked inside the building. Ellen was there with several people. They all turned to him. "Ed, did you find her?" asked Ellen. "We did. The paramedics took her to the hospital. She's going to be all right." "We must go to our daughter. Thank you so much," said a woman. She and her husband rushed outside. Others wanted to hug Ed. Ellen stood back and looked at him with unbridled adoration. "Thank you so much for what you have done today. The Snoqualmie tribe is forever grateful to the Duwamish tribe and their medicine man for coming to our aid. We'll write the story of what happened today. I understand you had the help of a crow and an eagle." "Yes, the crow is called Absaroki. The eagle is called Wombly. There was also a bear named Mohi, who protected the girl. Be sure to include them in your story, and don't forget to include the efforts of Officer Urey." "Absolutely. Ed, we count you as a friend of the Snoqualmie tribe. We welcome you to attend our gatherings whenever you can." "Sure. Do you have some coffee around here?" Several people laughed. Someone rushed to fetch mugs of coffee. They sat around a table and talked. Officer Urey told them of what happened from his perspective, and Ed filled in any gaps. What essentially seemed like a miracle impressed everyone. Finally, Ed and Ellen said their goodbyes and went outside. Ed found Absaroki perched on his car. "Where's Wombly?" asked Ed. "He's staying, but I need a ride back." Ed opened the door to let Absaroki inside. He closed it afterwards. "Ed, you look tired. I can have one of my detail drive your car. We can ride in the SUV. It has air conditioning," said Ellen. "Okay, I am tired. I'd appreciate a rest." Ellen handed his keys to a security guard, and they got into the SUV. Ed fell asleep on the way back. Ellen held on to him all the way home. "Ed, we're back," said Ellen. Ed awoke in the SUV with his head in Ellen's lap. He sat up. It was dark outside. "Thank you. Why didn't you sleep here tonight? You can return to work tomorrow morning." "Okay." Ellen gave some instructions to her detail, then she took Ed's hand and they walked inside. "Hot chocolate?" she asked. "Good idea. It's been a long day." They arrived at the family room and Ellen called and ordered hot chocolate. Ed sank into the sofa. Ellen snuggled up beside him. "I'm really proud of you today. The eagle, the crow, and the bear were the heroes today. Urey and I just walked in there to retrieve the girl. Without you, the girl would have died. You brought together a most amazing group of animals and people to achieve a miracle." "Well, you can thank the mugger who hit me on the head. Until that point, I couldn't have done any of it." "Don't be silly. You got a gift from that experience. You play the hand you're dealt, and you played it well today." "It can be exhausting." A maid arrived with the hot chocolate and some cookies. She put down the tray and left. Ellen poured mugs of hot chocolate and handed one to Ed. "Thanks." They both sipped their drinks. "Oh, while you were out, I got a call from my private detective. He said he was sending me a report via email," said Ellen. "Good. We can move forward on that soon." "Yes, also I got a report on that single mother referred to us by the ghost of Ezra Wright. It's genuine. so I can proceed with the payment. Excellent. Yes, a successful day. Ellen leaned in to kiss Ed on the lips. Well, that's the end of chapter 24. Next episode we have chapter 25, and they deal with the fake psychic, and Ed visits an Irish pub and meets a leprechaun. So hope to see you there.